This was not a period where technology was, everything. You couldn't just make something happen. You had to go and create it.
Hi, everyone. At 79 years old, Barry Gibb no longer speaks to protect a legacy. He speaks to protect a truth. For decades, the world danced to the flawless harmonies, the glittering disco lights, and the timeless hits of the Bee Gees. To millions, they were musical perfection. But behind the sound that defined generations was a story few ever heard. A story of brotherhood, sacrifice, and a quiet force holding everything together. Now, for the first time, Barry is opening his heart, not as a legend, but as a brother who lived with loss. This is not just a story about fame or music. It is a deeply human story about love, loyalty, and grief. At 79, Barry Gibb finally tells the truth about Maurice Gibb, and once you hear it, you'll never listen to the Bee Gees the same way again. Barry Allen Crompton Gibb was born on September 1, 1946, on the Isle of Man. As the eldest of the Gibb brothers, Barry grew up in a household shaped by closeness, struggle, and shared dreams. Alongside Robin Gibb and Maurice Gibb, Barry learned early that music was more than entertainment, it was identity. Singing together was how the brothers communicated when words failed. Inspired by the Everly Brothers and a rising wave of early rock and roll, Barry began writing songs while still a child. The melodies were simple at first, but the emotions were already complex. Even then, the brothers were inseparable, three voices moving as one, learning harmony not just in music, but in life. In the early 1960s, the Gibb family relocated to Australia, chasing opportunity and stability. It was there that the brothers officially began recording as the Bee Gees. Barry's talent as a songwriter and lead vocalist quickly became clear. His voice, capable of tender vulnerability and soaring falsetto, stood out instantly. Yet the true magic came from how the brothers blended together, each one strengthening the other. Australia gave them experience, but destiny waited elsewhere. When the Bee Gees returned to the United Kingdom in the late 1960s, everything changed. They were no longer just a talented group with potential, they were artists with something urgent to say. Songs like Massachusetts, To Love Somebody, and Words didn't feel manufactured or calculated, they felt exposed. Each lyric carried vulnerability, speaking openly about longing, regret, and emotional truth at a time when most pop music avoided that kind of honesty. Listeners didn't just hear these songs, they felt them. And in that moment, the world realized the Bee Gees were creating something timeless, not temporary. As the 1970s arrived, the band's rise turned historic. Disco culture was exploding, and the Bee Gees didn't simply adapt, they transformed the sound of an entire generation. Barry Gibb's falsetto became instantly recognizable, soaring above dance floors and radio waves alike. The release of Saturday Night Fever wasn't just a success, it was a cultural earthquake. Its impact reached far beyond music, influencing fashion, nightlife, and social identity across the globe. Songs like Stayin' Alive, Night Fever, and How Deep Is Your Love became anthems of an era, playing everywhere from packed nightclubs to quiet living rooms. These tracks didn't just top charts, they defined a movement. The Bee Gees weren't chasing trends, they were shaping them, setting the emotional and rhythmic pulse of the decade. Yet behind the glitter, the acclaim, and the global adoration, Barry Gibb carried a truth few ever heard, that behind every triumph was a quiet brother whose presence held the band together, even as the world watched only the spotlight. At 79, Barry Gibb finally says what he carried quietly for decades. Maurice Gibb was the heart of the Bee Gees, not the loudest voice, not the face most often in the spotlight, but the steady presence that held everything together. Maurice never chased attention or applause. He didn't need validation. Instead, he became the backbone of the group, both musically and emotionally. His rare ability to move effortlessly between bass, guitar, keyboards, and vocals gave the Bee Gees a richness and balance that few bands in history ever achieved. Beyond his musical versatility, Maurice carried a remarkable emotional intelligence. In moments when pressure threatened to tear the group apart, he was the calm voice in the storm, and there were many storms. Fame magnified every disagreement, every misunderstanding, every unspoken frustration. But Maurice had an instinctive way of grounding his brothers, reminding them that before the charts, before the awards, before the world's expectations, they were family. That reminder kept the Bee Gees intact when many other bands would have fractured beyond repair. As Barry Gibb reflects, the world saw polished performers standing under bright lights. What it didn't see were three brothers behind closed doors, struggling to survive the weight of success together. Maurice became the emotional anchor, the one who diffused tension, restored balance, and kept the music human. Without him, the harmonies would have existed, but the soul might not have. Beyond the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb rose as one of the most influential songwriters in music history. His creative reach stretched far beyond his own group, writing and producing for legends like Barbra Streisand, Kenny Rogers, Diana Ross, and Diana Ross. Barry proved his genius wasn't confined to a single sound or era. His melodies carried emotional precision, never forced, never empty. He understood how to tap into feelings listeners didn't even know how to name, quietly shaping modern pop music and leaving a legacy that continues to echo across generations. The 1990s marked a reflective chapter in Barry's career. He collaborated with Kelly Wolfe on Born to Be Loved by You, showcasing his subtle guitar work. He contributed instrumentals to Lulu's Let Me Wake Up in Your Arms, blending artistry with humility.
During this period, Barry continued working with the Bee Gees, contributing to albums like Size Isn't Everything, while also exploring solo material that reflected maturity rather than mainstream pressure. In 2001, the Bee Gees released what would become their final studio album, a closing chapter that felt more like a quiet farewell than a grand goodbye. It carried the weight of decades, harmony, conflict, forgiveness, and love, all woven into one last musical statement. The following year, Barry Gibb joined forces with Michael Jackson on All in Your Name, a rare collaboration that united two monumental legacies and hinted at music still left to give. But nothing could prepare Barry for the loss that followed. In 2003, Maurice Gibb passed away, and the world Barry knew collapsed. Maurice wasn't just a brother, he was a creative anchor, a confidant, and the stabilizing force within the Bee Gees. Barry later admitted that losing Maurice felt like losing a part of himself. The silence that followed wasn't just grief, it was the absence of a voice that had always been there. From that moment on, the Bee Gees would never sound the same. For years, Barry carried that pain quietly. History celebrated the falsettos and chart toppers, but often overlooked the quiet genius beneath them. Maurice never sought the spotlight, and because of that, many underestimated him. Yet listen closely. In the harmonies, the balance, the restraint, Maurice Gibb is everywhere. Barry Gibb's personal life reflected the same journey his music did, from chaos to stability. His first marriage to Maureen Bates in 1966, when Barry was just 19, unfolded amid the turbulence of sudden fame. Living near Abbey Road Studios in London, they were surrounded by musical history, but the pressures proved too heavy. The marriage ended in 1970, closing one chapter of Barry's life and quietly preparing him for another. That turning point arrived on a taping of Top of the Pops, where Barry met Linda Gray, a former Miss Edinburgh. Their connection was immediate and lasting. They married on September 1st, 1970, Barry's 24th birthday, beginning a partnership built on loyalty and resilience. Together, Barry and Linda Gibb raised 5 children, including Steve Gibb, and later welcomed 7 grandchildren. In 2009, they became United States citizens while retaining United Kingdom citizenship, a life balanced between family, legacy, and 2 worlds. Barry also shared his wisdom publicly, serving as a judge on American Idol in 2007. Rather than dominating the stage, he guided young artists with empathy, experience, and humility, traits shaped by decades of triumph and loss. Now, at 79, Barry Gibb speaks with a clarity only time can give. The fame has faded into memory, but the love remains. I can talk about Maurice Gibb forever, and it still wouldn't be enough. In those words lives a lifetime of brotherhood, loss, and gratitude. Through this truth, Barry ensures his brother is remembered not just as a Bee Gees member, but as the quiet brilliance that made everything possible. Because behind every legendary sound is someone holding it together. And for the Bee Gees, that was Maurice Gibb. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to honor a legacy that still lives through music. Thanks for watching.